You learned very early how to survive. You learned when to stay quiet, when to be strong, when to pretend you were fine. And that learning worked. It protected you. But no one told you that the child who learned those lessons would still be living inside you, listening to every word you say now. That inner child hears you when you rush yourself. She feels it when you criticize your body, your emotions, your pace. She remembers what it was like to need comfort and not receive it. And even though years have passed, her nervous system never forgot how it felt to be unseen. Most people think healing means digging into old memories or reliving pain. But healing the inner child begins somewhere much quieter. It begins with language, with the tone you use when you speak to yourself in private, with the words you choose when no one else is listening. If you've ever stood in front of the mirror and felt disconnected, if you've ever wondered why success, love, or peace still feels just out of reach, it may not be because you're doing something wrong. It may be because the child inside you still believes she has to earn love. That child doesn't respond to force or discipline. She responds to safety, to softness, to reassurance. When you speak harshly to yourself, she tightens. When you speak with patience, something inside your body exhales. That reaction is not imagination. It is intelligence. Think about how you would speak to a child who was afraid. You wouldn't shame her for crying. You wouldn't rush her healing. You would choose your words carefully, because you know words shape how safe she feels. Your inner child deserves that same care. Every loving word you repeat becomes a new instruction to your nervous system. Each gentle phrase rewrites an old belief that said love was conditional. This is why repetition matters. Not to convince your mind, but to reassure the part of you that learned to doubt. You don't need to believe the words right away. Belief grows after safety. Begin anyway. Speak kindly, even if it feels unfamiliar. Speak softly, even if your inner voice has always been loud. The child within you is listening for consistency, not perfection. Stay with this. Return to these words often. Let them become a place your inner child can rest. Healing does not come from fixing yourself. It comes from loving the part of you that learned to survive and finally letting her know she is safe now. There is a tender moment that arrives when you begin to sense that the feelings inside you are not only the feelings of an adult, they are echoes, whispers, memories of the child you once were. This recognition does not usually come with drama or sudden revelation. It comes quietly, like realizing you've been carrying a small hand in yours without noticing. The inner child has always been with you. She never left. She grew as you grew, but she kept her innocence, her fears, her hopes, her longing for safety. And she listens to everything you say to yourself now. Many people believe their childhood is something they left behind long ago, yet the emotional patterns formed in those early years live within us with great devotion. They learn to protect us, to adapt, to survive. The child inside you still responds to the tone in your voice, the tension in your shoulders, the pressure in your thoughts. She notices when you rush yourself. She flinches when you criticize yourself. She softens when you speak kindly. She has been responding to you all along, even if you did not realize it. Take a moment to imagine her, not with judgment, not with analysis, but with gentleness. Imagine the younger version of you, the one who learned when it was safe to speak and when it was safer to stay silent, the one who learned that some emotions were welcomed and others were ignored, the one who figured out how to navigate a world that often misunderstood her tenderness. That child still lives in your heart. She is not stuck in the past. She is living in your present, waiting for your attention, waiting for your tenderness. You may feel a slight ache in your chest as you picture her. That ache is recognition. It's the heart remembering something important. It's the heart saying, I know her. I have missed her. For years, she has been waiting to be acknowledged, not through old stories, not through reliving pain, but through your willingness to listen, to notice, to speak to her with love. When you rush yourself, she hears hurry or you're not enough. When you criticize your flaws, she hears you're still not lovable. When you ignore your exhaustion, she hears your needs do not matter. And when you speak gently, she hears you are safe now. You can rest here. You are loved. This is why healing begins with awareness. Before we can comfort the inner child, we must recognize that she is alive within us. She feels every tone. She reacts to every emotion. She doesn't understand adult reasoning. She understands warmth. She understands patience. She understands the difference between harshness and kindness. And she responds immediately to the language of love. Look gently at the parts of your life that feel difficult. The moments when you shrink, the feelings that overwhelm you, the situations that confuse you. These are often places where your inner child is still holding old beliefs. Not because she is wrong, but because no one has shown her anything different yet. She learned what she learned in the only way she could. She did her best with the information she had, and her best helped you survive. Now it is time to help her heal. She does not need correction. She needs acknowledgement. She needs to know you see her. She needs to know you care. As you become aware of her presence, you may notice softness rising within you. That softness is love, and it is the most powerful force you possess. Love is what heals. Love is what rewrites old stories. Love is what makes the inner child feel safe for the first time in years. You don't need to solve anything right now. You don't need to understand every wound. You don't need to revisit painful memories. Just knowing she is there changes everything. The inner child feels your awareness like a warm hand reaching toward her. Even before you say a single kind word, she senses your intention, she senses your curiosity, she senses your willingness to connect, and she begins to relax subtly, gently, naturally. There is nothing you must do perfectly here. There is nothing you can do wrong. You are simply meeting a part of yourself that has waited decades for this gentle attention. Let yourself reflect on the moments in your adult life when you felt unusually frightened, unusually rejected, unusually ashamed. Those reactions were not signs of weakness. They were signs of youth. They were the child within you calling out, saying, I am still here. I still need love. I still need reassurance. You are not too old to heal her. You are not too late to find her. You have not missed your chance. She does not age. She does not disappear. She does not give up. She waits patiently because she knows something your adult self sometimes forgets. Love is always available. Healing is always possible. Reconnection is always within reach. You may notice certain memories surfacing now, not necessarily painful, just familiar. A moment when you felt alone. A moment when you felt misunderstood. A moment when you longed for comfort that never arrived. These memories come not to overwhelm you, but to help you see where love is needed now. Your present tenderness can touch old wounds in a way that transforms them. Remember this, you are not revisiting the past. You are rescuing the part of you that never received the love she deserved. Healing happens in the present, not the past. Healing happens in the way you speak to yourself today. Healing happens in the gentleness of your thoughts, the softness of your tone, the kindness of your breath. As you recognize your inner child, you begin to understand why you sometimes feel the way you do. You begin to see your emotional responses not as flaws, but as echoes. Echoes of times when you needed reassurance and did not receive it. Echoes of moments when comfort would have changed everything. Now you can give that comfort. Now you can answer those echoes. Now you can offer the love that was missing. In this first step of awareness, you lay the foundation for deep healing. You learn to see yourself with compassion rather than criticism. You learn to interpret emotion as communication rather than failure. You learn to treat your inner world the way you would treat a scared child, with patience, with kindness, with a gentle voice. Healing begins the moment you say inwardly, I see you, I hear you, I am here with you now. And when we move into part 2, we will explore how your inner child speaks to you, not through words, but through sensations, reactions, and long-held feelings that are ready to soften under your love. But for now, let this awareness settle in your heart. Your inner child is real. She is listening. And she is so ready to be loved. As you begin to recognize the presence of your inner child, another tender step unfolds, learning how to hear her. She does not speak in sentences or explanations. She does not use logic or reasoning. She communicates the way children always have, through feelings, through reactions, through the subtle shifts in your breath and your body. And the moment you begin listening for these signals, your entire emotional world takes on new meaning. Your inner child speaks through the things that hurt more than they should. She speaks through the places where you feel too sensitive, too reactive, too overwhelmed. She speaks through the moments when you suddenly feel small or lost or unsure. These emotional waves are not signs that something is wrong with you. They are signs that something within you is asking to be understood. Imagine a young child standing quietly beside you, tugging your sleeve when she needs comfort. She does not know how to articulate her fear or confusion. She simply feels it, and she hopes with all her innocent heart that someone will notice. When you feel tension rise in your chest or heaviness gather in your stomach, these are the inner child's small tugs. Her way of saying, please look at me, please listen. Often we rush past these feelings because adult life demands so much from us. We have responsibilities, schedules, relationships, obligations, but the inner child does not understand any of that. She only understands whether you are gentle with her or whether you overlook her needs. And feelings that go unacknowledged do not disappear. They simply press more firmly against your awareness, hoping you will finally turn inward and say, I'm here. Tell me what you need. There may be moments when your emotions feel too large, even disproportionate to the situation. This is not because you are dramatic or weak. It is because the inner child's voice is louder than usual. Perhaps she remembers something, a tone, a silence, a rejection, even when your conscious mind does not. She reacts before you do because she has lived inside your heart longer than your adult self. Take a moment to reflect on the last time you felt a strong emotional response. Maybe someone's words stung more than expected. Maybe you felt overwhelmed by a simple task. Maybe you felt abandoned over something small. These reactions are not random. They are echoes. They are reminders of feelings your inner child once had to carry alone. Now she no longer has to carry them alone. Place your hand gently over your heart for a moment. Feel the warmth of your touch. Feel how your body softens under your own kindness. This is how the inner child listens. She feels safety through warmth, through slowness, through presence. When you slow down and pay attention, she senses that you are creating room for her voice, a voice that has been quiet for far too long. The inner child often asks for the simplest things. Please don't rush me. Please don't speak harshly to me. Please let me rest. Please hold me kindly inside your thoughts. She does not ask for perfection. She does not ask for explanations. She only asks for gentleness. You may notice that when you criticize yourself, your body tightens immediately. That tightening is your inner child bracing for familiar pain. She remembers what it felt like to be scolded, to be ignored, to be compared, to be told she wasn't enough. Even if your adult self has forgotten those moments, she has not. And when you speak kindly to yourself, something else happens. The tightening loosens, your breath deepens, your chest lightens. These are not coincidences, they are responses. They are the inner child saying, "This is the voice I needed." Please keep speaking this way. When you begin to hear your inner child's silent requests, you begin to understand why you feel certain emotions so deeply. You begin to see that your sensitivities are not flaws, they are clues, they are invitations. They are bridges connecting your adult compassion to your childlike vulnerability. Let yourself tune into the quiet places within you, the sigh you release when no one is watching, the sadness that arrives without a reason, the anxiety that appears when you try too hard, the fatigue that comes from pretending to be strong. Each of these is a message. Each of these is a need. Each of these is the inner child whispering, "Love me here." And when you begin to respond with tenderness, she begins to trust you. She begins to relax inside your presence. She begins to believe that she no longer has to hide her feelings or protect herself from your judgment. Her emotional world opens slowly, like a flower that finally feels the warmth of sunlight after years of coldness. This softening does not happen because you analyze your childhood. It happens because you meet your feelings with love. The inner child doesn't need complicated explanations. She needs warmth. She needs understanding. She needs to know that your adult self will not abandon her the way she once felt abandoned. Let yourself say inwardly, "I hear you, I see you, you matter to me." As you speak these words slowly, lovingly, notice how your breath responds. Notice how your heart responds. Notice how your entire being seems to expand slightly, making room for the child within. She has waited so long for these words, and sometimes the inner child's messages come through fatigue, the kind of tiredness that no sleep seems to cure. This is the exhaustion of a heart that has been unloved for too many years. When you finally speak gently to yourself, that exhaustion begins to lift, not all at once, but in soft waves. Healing always arrives in waves. Other times, the inner child speaks through resistance. Perhaps you resist receiving help, or accepting love, or resting. This resistance is not stubbornness, it is fear. It is the child inside you saying, "I don't know if I am worthy of this comfort." And this is where your loving words matter most. Whenever you sense resistance, speak more softly. Whenever you sense fear, move more slowly. Whenever you sense sadness, offer more warmth. This is how trust is built. Gently, patiently, with repetition. There will be moments when you do not know exactly what the inner child needs. That is all right. You do not need to understand everything. You only need to be present with her. Presence heals even when words fail. Presence says, "I am here with you. You are not alone." And that message alone has the power to soothe decades of fear. As we move forward into the next part of this journey, we will begin exploring how to speak to the inner child with words that create safety, not force, not correction, but loving guidance that helps her trust the world inside you again. But for now, let this truth settle gently in your heart. Your inner child has been speaking to you all your life. And for the first time, you are learning how to listen. There is a moment in every healing journey when listening becomes speaking, when awareness of the inner child grows into the desire to comfort her. You may already feel this impulse rising within you, a tenderness that whispers, "I want to help her feel safe." This desire is not imagined. It is your heart responding to the presence of the child within, the part of you that longed for a gentle voice long before you had the power to give it. Your inner child does not understand reasoning or explanations. She understands tone, she understands slowness, she understands warmth. Children always have. Even before words are fully formed, they know the difference between a loving voice and a harsh one. They know when someone's tone carries encouragement and when it carries disappointment. And your inner child has been living with your tone for decades. Every whisper of self-criticism, every impatient thought, every quiet sigh of frustration. If you want to heal her, begin with your tone. Speak to her the way you would speak to a frightened child standing before you, softly, slowly, without pressure. Imagine her looking up at you with wide, unsure eyes, waiting to see if you will be gentle. She does not need perfection. She needs reassurance. She needs to know she will not be scolded for her feelings. She needs to hear that you are here for her, not against her. Try saying inwardly, "My darling, you are safe with me." Notice how your body changes when these words settle within you. Notice how your breath softens. Notice how your shoulders release. This is not coincidence. This is response. The inner child hears you. In moments of self-criticism, your inner child flinches. She remembers what it felt like to disappoint someone important. She remembers what it felt like to try so hard and still feel it wasn't enough. When you speak harshly to yourself now, she does not know that you are talking to an adult. She believes you are talking to her, the small, tender part of you who did her best with so little guidance. But when you speak softly, that same child unclenches. She relaxes. She begins to trust. This trust does not happen instantly. Trust never does. Trust grows through repetition, through hearing the same gentle tone again and again until the heart begins to believe it. Let yourself imagine that you are sitting quietly with your younger self in your lap. Feel how natural it becomes to adjust your voice, to choose words carefully, to slow your breathing so she feels your calmness. This is the same tenderness you must bring to your inner voice. Healing does not happen through lecturing yourself. Healing happens through comforting yourself. Words spoken in fear create fear. Words spoken in shame create shame. Words spoken in love create healing. This is why the language you use with yourself matters. It shapes your inner world. It teaches your nervous system what to expect. It tells your inner child what kind of home she lives in. If you have spent years criticizing yourself, it may feel strange at first to speak kindly. That is all right. Kindness does not require belief at the beginning. It requires practice. Imagine the first time you comfort a child who is not used to being comforted. She may not lean in immediately. She may hesitate. She may look away. But when she senses consistency, she begins to trust the safety she never had before. Your inner child is no different. When you say, "I am here with you," she listens. When you say, "You are allowed to feel this," she softens. When you say, "I will not leave you," something deep inside you begins to shift. These words are not affirmations you are trying to force yourself to believe. They are reassurances, gentle, loving reassurances that soothe the part of you that fears being alone with her emotions. Let yourself try a few phrases now, slowly, without pressure. You did nothing wrong. You deserve to be comforted. I am on your side now. You are safe in my heart. Notice how each phrase feels in your body. Notice where the warmth gathers, maybe in your chest, your throat, or your belly. Notice any tension that begins to melt. This is your inner child responding with relief. These words reach her not because they are clever or profound, but because they are gentle. Gentleness is the language of healing. When you begin speaking softly, you may also notice that emotions rise, sadness, longing, tenderness. That is natural. These emotions are not setbacks. They are openings. They are the inner child stepping forward because she finally believes you will not push her away. She is not trying to overwhelm you. She is trying to be seen. Let the tears come if they need to. Let the sighs come. Let the warmth come. All of these are signs that your heart is unfurling. As you continue this practice over the coming days, you will see how speaking lovingly to yourself begins to change everything: your breath, your reactions, your choices. Kind words create an inner world where healing can occur without force. They create a feeling of safety so deep that old pain no longer needs to protect itself. Your inner child begins to trust that she no longer has to earn love. She begins to understand that you are not here to discipline her or correct her. You are here to comfort her, to guide her, to teach her that loving words are not rare, that loving words can come from you. When this realization takes root, your entire emotional landscape shifts. Peace arises where fear once lived. Softness arises where tension once held on. Hope arises where old beliefs once whispered doubt. And when we move into the next part of this journey, we will explore how old protective patterns begin to loosen naturally, not through digging, not through reliving pain, but through the steady presence of the loving voice you are cultivating now. But for this moment, rest in this truth. You are becoming the safe voice your inner child waited a lifetime to hear. There comes a time in healing when old patterns rise into awareness, not to frighten you, but to be released with understanding. Many people believe they must revisit every difficult memory to heal the inner child. But healing is not about reliving the pain. Healing is about introducing something new, something kinder, something safer, something your younger self never received. When love enters, old patterns begin to loosen by themselves. You do not need to chase your past. You do not need to analyze your wounds. You do not need to relive painful stories to heal them. The inner child responds not to digging, but to safety. And safety is created through gentleness in the present moment. When you speak lovingly to yourself now, you rewrite the emotional atmosphere that once shaped your patterns. The child within you ceases to brace for harm and begins to relax into trust. Most of the patterns you struggle with today were formed when you were too young to understand what was happening. Perhaps you learned to stay small to avoid criticism. Perhaps you learned to be quiet to avoid conflict. Perhaps you learned to be perfect to earn love. These patterns were not failures, they were survival. They kept you safe in a world you did not yet know how to navigate. But what once protected you can begin to limit you. And when those limitations become too tight, the inner child cries out through emotion, not through words, through overwhelm, through fear, through self-doubt, through that familiar tightening in your chest or stomach. When these reactions appear, you may think something is wrong with you. But the truth is far gentler. These reactions are old patterns asking to be released. They arise because your heart now feels safe enough to let them surface. This is why healing often begins with discomfort, not because you are falling apart, but because you are coming together. You are shedding what no longer matches the loving person you are becoming. Let yourself imagine each old pattern as a tightly wound thread. When you introduce love, the thread begins to unwind, slowly, softly, naturally. You do not force it. You do not pull at it sharply. You simply hold it with warmth, and the tension releases on its own. Some patterns appear around relationships. Perhaps you fear being abandoned, or feel unworthy of affection, or expect others to dismiss your needs. When these emotions rise, they are not warnings about the present. They are echoes from the past. They are reminders of the moments your inner child once felt unseen or unheard. Let these moments be invitations to comfort her. Say inwardly, "My love, you are not in that old place anymore. You are safe with me now." Other patterns appear around your sense of worth. Perhaps you rush yourself or criticize yourself for resting, or believe you must accomplish something to deserve love. These, too, come from the inner child who grew up believing that her value depended on meeting the expectations of others. But you are not that child anymore. You are the loving adult who can teach her a new truth. Tell her you do not need to earn my love. You already have it. Feel how your body responds to those words, how your heart loosens, how your breath deepens. This is healing. Healing is the movement from fear to love, from bracing to softening, from repeating the past to creating a new present. As you continue speaking kindly to yourself, you may notice that patterns you carried for years begin to shift. They do not vanish suddenly, they soften slowly. A reaction that once felt overwhelming becomes manageable. A fear that once felt constant becomes quieter. A belief that once felt unshakable begins to lose its power. This softening does not mean the pattern failed. It means the pattern is retiring. It means the pattern recognizes it is no longer needed. Let yourself thank the pattern silently. Say, "You kept me safe when I didn't know how to protect myself. But I am older now, I am wiser now, and I am ready for a gentler way." Old emotional habits dissolve when they feel appreciated rather than attacked. When you judge yourself for having a pattern, the pattern tightens. When you meet it with kindness, it relaxes. This is why your healing must be tender. Tenderness is what breaks the cycle. There may be moments when an old wound feels sharper than usual. This is not regression. This is release. The inner child is bringing forward the last remnants of a belief because she finally trusts that you can hold it with love. When this happens, respond to yourself the way you wish someone had responded to you long ago, with patience, with gentleness, with unconditional acceptance. Say quietly to yourself, "It's all right, beloved. You're safe now. You don't have to hold this alone anymore." Feel the healing in those words. Feel the warmth spreading in your chest. Feel the tension melting in your body. This is not imagination. This is transformation. As you speak lovingly, your inner world reorganizes itself. Fear loosens. Shame dissolves. Old beliefs crack open like shells, revealing the soft truth beneath. You were always worthy of love. In the next part of our journey, we will explore how to reparent the inner child with daily consistency, how to give her the love, structure, and kindness she always needed and never received. But for now, let yourself rest in the gentle recognition that you do not have to relive your pain to release it. You only need to bring love where fear once lived. This alone begins the healing, and you have already begun. There comes a moment in every healing journey when you realize that you are not only tending to the wounds of your inner child, you are becoming the loving presence she needed all along. This realization does not arrive with heaviness. It arrives with tenderness. It is the recognition that you now have something to offer her that no one else could, your own steady, gentle, patient love. Reparenting is not about correcting the past. It is about offering the safety that was missing, right here in the present. Your inner child does not need a perfect parent. She needs a kind one, a consistent one, a loving one, someone who speaks softly even on the days when life feels overwhelming, someone who says, "I am here," not only when things are calm, but also when old fears rise. Someone who offers the same patience to her that you would offer to any child trembling with confusion or exhaustion. Every time you speak gently to yourself, you are reparenting her. Every time you pause instead of criticize, you are reparenting her. Every time you breathe before reacting, you are reparenting her. And every loving phrase becomes another brick in the foundation of inner safety. Let yourself imagine, just for a moment, holding the younger version of yourself. See her small hands, her hopeful eyes, her delicate spirit. Notice the way she leans toward warmth. Notice how deeply she longs to trust. When you speak lovingly inwardly, you are speaking to that child. Every word you choose becomes a form of emotional shelter. Consistency is the heart of reparenting. Not intensity, not perfection, consistency. Children learn through repetition. They learn that love is real when it arrives, not once, but again and again. Your inner child is no different. She has been listening to the same inner dialogue for years, perhaps one filled with criticism or self-doubt. It will take time for her to believe that the new voice, the kind voice, is here to stay. And that is why your daily gentle words matter so greatly. Not because they are dramatic, but because they are steady. Speak to her every day. Speak to her in moments of stillness. Speak to her in moments of overwhelm. Speak to her when she feels frightened or unworthy. Tell her, "You are safe with me now. I will not abandon you. You deserve rest. You are precious to me." These words, repeated with tenderness, begin to mend places within her that no amount of analysis could reach. Love travels where logic cannot. Love softens what fear hardened. Love rebuilds trust, one gentle breath at a time. As you continue, you may notice your body responding.